Hello. I'm really glad you're here with me today because we're going to talk about something that could truly make a big difference in your health and well-being, especially as we get older. You see, the risk of stroke naturally increases with age. That's just a fact of life. But here's the good news. There are simple, everyday choices we can make to lower that risk and feel stronger, clearer, and more energized. And one of the biggest choices? It starts right on your plate. Now, I know changing habits, especially ones we've had for years, isn't always easy. Maybe you've had a sweet tooth since you were a kid. Or maybe opening a can of soup just feels simpler than cooking from scratch. I get it. But sometimes, those little choices can quietly chip away at our health. So today, let's gently walk through some of the foods that could raise your risk of stroke and talk about why swapping them out might be one of the best things you do for your heart and your brain. Let's start with something most of us enjoy, those sweet, delicious treats like cakes, donuts, cookies, and pies. Sound familiar? These kinds of goodies are comforting, and honestly, they taste great, but here's the tricky part. Many of them are packed with something called trans fats. These fats are artificial, man-made, and they do a real number on our bodies. They raise what's known as LDL, or bad cholesterol, and lower HDL, the good cholesterol. That imbalance clogs up your arteries and makes it harder for blood to flow, which can eventually lead to a stroke or heart disease. Now, I'm not saying you can never have a slice of cake again. Life is meant to be enjoyed. But being mindful of how often you reach for these kinds of treats, and how much, makes a big difference. Aiming to keep your trans fat intake to less than 2 grams a day is a smart goal. And if you're looking for a satisfying snack, fruit is your friend. Sweet, juicy, and full of vitamins, it gives you that natural sugar without the damage. And listen, if meal planning feels like a lot to handle on your own, that's okay. You don't have to do this alone. There are wonderful caregivers out there who specialize in helping seniors cook healthy meals, keep track of medications, and even offer companionship along the way. Sometimes, having a little extra support makes it so much easier to stick to those good habits. Now let's talk about something that seems innocent, canned soups. They're convenient, warm, and comforting, especially on a chilly day. But most of the ones you'll find in the store are loaded with sodium. And too much salt? That raises your blood pressure, makes your heart work harder, and can lead to fluid retention, all of which increase the risk of a stroke. If you or your loved one really enjoys soup, here's a better idea. Try low sodium versions, or even better, make it at home. You can toss in fresh veggies, lean proteins, and whole grains, all while controlling how much salt goes in. It's a small change, but one that protects your heart and your brain in a big way. Now, I want to bring up another favorite, red meat. I'm talking about steaks, sausages, burgers, and all those hearty meals many of us grew up with. The problem with red meat is that it's high in saturated fat. And just like trans fats, saturated fat can block your arteries and cut off the blood flow to your brain. That's how ischemic strokes happen. So, while a juicy steak might be delicious once in a while, making it a regular part of your diet can quietly increase your risk. Instead, think about adding more lean meats like chicken or turkey into your meals. Or even better, try incorporating fish like salmon or mackerel. They're packed with omega-3s, which are great for your brain and your heart. Plant-based proteins like beans, lentils, or tofu are also wonderful, filling alternatives. They're gentle on your body and still give you the energy you need. And I want to say this again, because it's so important, you don't have to take this journey alone. If you've been the one cooking for yourself or a loved one and it's becoming too much, it's perfectly okay to ask for help. A professional caregiver can step in to give you a break and offer support that makes daily life easier, whether it's grocery shopping, prepping meals, or just sharing a laugh over lunch. There's no shame in needing a hand. In fact, having someone by your side might just be the key to making these healthier choices feel doable and even enjoyable. Making healthy choices isn't about being perfect, it's about progress, one small step at a time. We've already talked about sweet treats, salty soups, and red meats, but there are still a couple more sneaky foods that might be putting your health at risk without you even realizing it. Let's talk about something that's become a favorite for many: potato chips. They're crunchy, salty, and so easy to snack on. Maybe you like having a little bowl while watching TV or reading the paper. But here's the thing: these snacks, while tasty, are often loaded with unhealthy fats and sodium, and they're one of the biggest culprits when it comes to blocked arteries. See, those crunchy chips are usually deep fried, which means they're soaked in oils that raise your cholesterol. And the salt? It builds up in the body, raising your blood pressure, slowly but surely. When your arteries get clogged and blood can't flow freely, that's when the risk of stroke really starts to rise. It's not about what happens after one bag, it's about what happens after months or years of eating these foods regularly. But don't worry, there are some tasty, healthier swaps you can try. Ever had kale chips? They're easy to make at home. Just a little olive oil, a pinch of seasoning, and a quick bake in the oven. They come out crispy and satisfying without all the damage. Or go for crunchy veggies like carrots, cucumber, or bell pepper slices with a low-fat yogurt dip. You'll still get that crunch and flavor, but in a way that supports your heart, your brain, and your overall health. And that brings us to something that might surprise you: soda. Yep, those fizzy, sweet drinks that so many of us grew up with can quietly work against your health as you get older. Even the diet versions, believe it or not, aren't doing your body any favors. Sodas are packed with sugar, and that sugar turns into extra weight, puts strain on your heart, and raises your chances of having a stroke. Some studies even link diet sodas to an increased risk because of the artificial sweeteners and chemicals they contain. It's not just about your weight. It's about how these drinks affect your blood pressure, blood sugar, and how your body functions over time. But don't worry, staying hydrated doesn't mean you have to settle for plain water all day. There are some delicious and healthy drink options out there that not only taste good but actually help your body heal and stay strong. Try green tea, it's full of antioxidants that support your brain. Or enjoy a smoothie with fruit, leafy greens, and a little low-fat yogurt. Even naturally flavored water with slices of lemon, cucumber, or mint can make hydration a lot more enjoyable. Remember, everything we're talking about here isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. Freedom from pain, from fatigue, from fear of a health scare. When you start replacing harmful foods and drinks with nourishing ones, you start to feel the difference in your energy, your mood, and your outlook on life. And that's a beautiful thing at any age. Now, I know making these changes might feel overwhelming. You might be thinking, I've been eating this way for decades, is it really worth changing now? The answer is a big, hopeful yes. It's never too late to make your next meal a healthier one. Every positive choice adds up, and your body will thank you for it. And if you're caring for someone else, a parent, a spouse, or a dear friend, remember, you don't have to carry that responsibility alone. Whether it's help with grocery shopping, cooking, or even just a break so you can catch your breath, there are people trained to walk alongside you. Caregivers aren't just helpers, they're partners in this journey to better health. And sometimes, just knowing someone is there with you can make all the difference. So, as we move forward, take a moment to think about what's in your kitchen right now. What's in your fridge or pantry that might be sneaking in extra salt, sugar, or fat? What are a few small changes you could start with today? Maybe it's choosing water instead of soda for dinner. Maybe it's skipping the chips and trying some roasted chickpeas or fruit instead. Maybe it's simply reading the label on that can of soup and opting for the low-sodium version next time. You don't have to do it all at once. Just start where you are. Take it one step, one snack, one meal at a time. Your future self, your stronger, healthier, more energetic self, will be so grateful you did. You're doing amazing, really. The fact that you're still here, listening, learning, and opening your heart to better choices says a lot about your strength and your spirit. This journey we're on isn't just about food. It's about taking back control over our health, one small step at a time, and that's something worth celebrating. Now, let's get into something that often goes unnoticed, not because it's hidden, but because it's so common. I'm talking about processed foods in general. We've already touched on things like canned soup and potato chips, but the truth is, a lot of what's sitting on grocery store shelves, boxed dinners, frozen meals, packaged snacks, may be loaded with things our bodies just weren't made to process in large amounts. Most of these foods contain high levels of sodium, sugar, unhealthy fats, and preservatives. Over time, all of these can quietly work against your brain, your heart, and your arteries. And because they're quick and easy, they can sneak into your daily routine without much thought. But convenience doesn't have to come at the cost of your health. So what can we do about it? The answer isn't to toss everything out at once. Instead, just start becoming more aware of the labels. Look for items marked low sodium, no trans fats, or no added sugars. Try cooking in larger batches so you can freeze your own healthy meals instead of relying on the store-bought ones. And keep your kitchen stocked with the basics: whole grains, fresh or frozen vegetables, lean proteins, and healthy oils like olive oil. You might be thinking, but cooking is harder now. I don't have the energy I used to. I hear you. And that's where support can really come in handy. Whether it's a family member helping with a weekly meal prep or a professional caregiver lending a hand in the kitchen, the goal is to make it easier, not harder. You're not alone in this. Sometimes even just having someone sit and eat with you makes all the difference. Eating well is important, but feeling connected while you do it, that's just as vital for your health. Now, I'd also like to gently touch on something that's often overlooked: portion sizes. As we age, our metabolism slows down a bit. We may not need as many calories as we used to, but we still need just as much, if not more, nutrition. Big portions of the wrong foods can pile up quickly, especially when we're not as active as we once were. Try serving your meals on smaller plates. Focus on filling half of it with vegetables, a quarter with lean protein, and the last quarter with whole grains like brown rice or quinoa. It sounds simple, but this kind of plate can be your secret weapon for stroke prevention. And don't forget to listen to your body. Eat slowly. Pause between bites. Notice how you feel. When we slow down, we become more in tune with our needs, and that mindfulness can be just as powerful as the food we choose. Another thing to consider is hydration. It might seem unrelated, but staying hydrated is a big part of keeping your blood pressure steady and your brain sharp. As we get older, the thirst signals in our body can become weaker. You might not feel thirsty, but your body still needs water. Dehydration can make you feel dizzy, foggy, or even lead to a fall, which can be especially dangerous for seniors. Aim to drink water throughout the day. You can flavor it naturally with a slice of lemon or some berries. Herbal teas are a great option too. Try keeping a water bottle nearby as a gentle reminder to sip regularly. It's one of the simplest things you can do to support your overall health. Let's also talk for a minute about joy. Because here's the thing, food isn't just fuel. It's memories. It's comfort. It's celebration. And even as we make healthier choices, we don't want to lose that sense of joy. The goal isn't to remove everything you love, but to find a new balance that leaves you feeling better, not deprived. Think of it this way: each time you choose a nourishing meal, you're giving your body a gift. Each time you swap soda for water, or chips for fruit, you're saying, "I care about my future." And that mindset? That's powerful. So be kind to yourself. If you slip up, it's okay. Tomorrow is a new day. You're not aiming for perfect, just better. You're choosing life, energy, peace of mind. And if you're making these changes for someone you love, a spouse, a parent, a dear friend, remember, your care makes a difference in their quality of life. Your effort matters. You've come a long way with me today, and I just want to say how proud I am of you for taking the time to learn, reflect, and think about your health, and maybe even the health of someone you love. These conversations aren't always easy, especially when they touch close to home. But awareness is the first step toward change. And you've already taken that step. Let's take a deep breath together and remember what this is all about. This isn't a lecture. This isn't a list of rules. This is a heart-to-heart reminder that your life matters, your choices matter, and your health is worth fighting for, no matter your age or what the past has looked like. Now, before we close, let's bring everything together. We've talked about the everyday foods that can quietly increase the risk of stroke, sweet treats like cakes and donuts that are high in trans fats, processed soups packed with sodium, red meats rich in saturated fat, and those easy-to-grab snacks like potato chips and sugary sodas. We've looked at the impact these foods can have on your blood pressure, cholesterol, and circulation. And we've explored what to choose instead, simple, satisfying options that can actually support your body and protect your brain. And I want to say this again, it's never too late to start making healthier choices. Whether you're 60, 70, or 90, your body is still listening to every bite, every sip, every decision. And the beautiful thing is, it responds. Even small improvements in your diet can lead to better sleep, more energy, steadier moods, and fewer health scares down the line. But as you make changes, don't go it alone. Reach out for support from your family, your community, or even a professional caregiver who understands the unique needs of aging adults. Sometimes, having someone help with grocery shopping, cooking, or even just keeping you company during meals can take the pressure off and make the whole experience more enjoyable. If you're caring for a loved one, remember that your own health matters too. You deserve rest. You deserve time to recharge. And there are wonderful people out there who can step in with compassionate support, even just for a few hours a week. Because caring for someone else is easier when you're not pouring from an empty cup. Let's also take a moment to talk about the emotional side of food. It's okay to feel attached to certain meals or treats, they often hold memories. Maybe that Sunday roast reminds you of family dinners. Or that slice of pie takes you back to your childhood. Food is deeply personal, and I want you to know that you don't have to let go of everything to live healthier. It's not about losing joy, it's about finding new ways to nourish your body while still honoring your story. For example, maybe you recreate that roast dinner but swap out the fatty beef for turkey or salmon. Or try a homemade fruit dessert instead of a sugar-loaded pie. Little adjustments, big impact. You can still celebrate, still savor, and still smile at every meal, just with a little more intention and love for your future. And speaking of your future, let's look ahead with hope. Imagine waking up each day feeling a little lighter, a little clearer, and more at ease knowing you're doing what you can to protect your health. Imagine walking outside without that nagging fear of a health scare. Imagine laughing more freely, moving more easily, and living with a sense of peace that comes from caring for the temple God gave you, your body. Because that's what this is really all about. Stewardship. Taking care of the gift you've been given. And you don't have to do it all at once. Just one good choice today. Then another tomorrow. And another the next day. You'll look back one day and be amazed at how far you've come. So, my friend, as we wrap up, I want to thank you again for spending this time with me. You matter. Your health matters. Your life still has purpose, and your journey is still unfolding. Don't let age convince you otherwise. Every day is a new opportunity to live better, love deeper, and nourish the beautiful soul you are. And hey, if this message encouraged you in any way, would you consider subscribing to the channel? This space was created just for you, to uplift, inform, and walk with you through every season of life. When you hit that subscribe button, you're not just joining a channel, you're joining a community of people who care. So let's keep growing together, hand in hand, one small step at a time. Until next time, stay hopeful, stay healthy, and know that you are deeply loved.